Oh, hi, friend. I am Dr. Arshad Baloch. Today we will discuss the whole story of yellow rust, wheat yellow rust. You know, the wheat is a very much important food crop for us, even for a whole world, I think. Uh, Too many climatic changes, erratic changes in climate and the increasing population. We are suffering extreme shortage of this pretty food stuff. And in order to mitigate such a problem, we have too much difficulties to manage these natural disasters, especially this wheat yellow rust. In the universe, the total wheat production, 21% of wheat yield could last due to various diseases. And rusts are among these and very much important contributor of yield loss. So we have certain levels of control or management strategies. And these are at a research level and field level and policy level changes, or you could say management strategies. Obviously, the resistance is the most important and very accurate contributor toward food security. And similarly, the monitoring of the resistance in the field, and very much important among all, is adaptation by the farmers. You know, it is very difficult task to convince farmer to adopt newly developed varieties. So it is also our major focus to make the farmer convinced to adopt newly adopted or newly released varieties. And similarly, the fine-tuning of nutrients requirements for newly evolved varieties. Definitely, the soil chemist contribute for this, and development of different cultural practices for our wheat crop. And obviously, for that, agronomy person should contribute. And the very much important is the resistance. Either it's maybe for disease resistance or for insects. So the pathologist and entomologist shall contribute for that. So these are stakeholders are important, and also I could like to mention here that the breeding is not only to evolve variety, it's a contribution of all other stakeholders that I have mentioned here. So the division of patent must be among all these. At field level, you have to alter climate. It's very difficult as first I rather we think that how could we alter the environment? Shall we change the temperature, moisture of the whole area? It's very difficult. Shall we contain our wheat crop in glass houses? So building of too much bigger glass houses is again a difficult task. What else we do? This very tough question. Uh, Shall we change the date of sowing? Maybe earlier or later. That suits our our motives of avoiding diseases, insects, lodging, and so many factors. So it's very important factor to change the sowing date and the change input levels, so as for our wheat crop concern. There is we are noticing that too many irrigation results in disease development, lodging, insects, and similarly the use of nitrogen also contribute towards increasing disease, insects, and again lodging, and less application of potash fertilizer. That is very much common in our farming community. So this is also a very important factor. If we add potash in our wheat productivity enhancement strategies, so definitely potash will contribute, as if we apply potash, it will improve the resistance of the plant against lodging and against diseases, against insects. So decreasing irrigation, decreasing nitrogen fertilizer, and adding a potash fertilizer will contribute towards enhancement. And at policy level, we must have a patent price, as I have mentioned earlier. How could a breeder who claimed that he evolved a variety, how could he decide whether it is disease resistance, insect resistance or not, and which concentration of nutrients should be required for that variety, and what cultural practices should we adopt for newly evolved varieties? Definitely it contributes by the relevant scientists. So I must say that the patent must be divided among all these stakeholders. And what else at policy levels? Yes, the early warning, the regional or country early warning systems must be developed so that the farmers warned earlier, as the things are very easier now about the climate. And even we forecast the coming 2 months, what would happen in coming 2 months. So it is very much important to develop early warning systems. Obviously, disease, varietal resistance is our prime focus. That must be speeding up, and continuous surveillance of disease in the field is also very much important. It must be a regular feature, and very much important thing is the low performer varieties must be evacuated as earlier as possible from the field, because in certain countries the policymakers are very much lazy. They take much time, and the things got worse day by day. So upon the recommendation of relevant experts, such varieties could speedily be evacuated from the system. And the training of extension field staff, and similarly the projection of the scientific knowledge to farmers through social media, through electronic media, is very much important for the farming community. So at the end, if we conclude our session, first of all, the disease resistance, awareness about the climate, less use of inputs, less use of irrigation, and timely application of certain chemicals. One more thing that I didn't mention here, the fungal resistance is increasing day by day, as the use of chemical is not judicious nowadays. So judicious use of chemicals, of fungicides that we're using nowadays against especially yellow rust, are creating big trouble in the future, I forecast. So the certain laws must be developed to curtail this injudicious use of these chemicals. You must contact with the environment forecast. So if you know what happened in next 2 months, so you should better prepare yourself very earlier, and you get evacuate yourself from coming problem. And definitely the agriculture is art, so heal it, it's like art. And one more and very much important at the end, don't use more chemicals for every crop, as the chemicals are too much hazard. It's hidden costs that we pay are not seen to us, but we are paying in shape of our health loss. So avoid chemicals. It's my request to all of you. Avoid chemicals. Avoid chemicals. Avoid chemicals. Thank you very much for your patience and listening to my words. Have a good day. Bye.